So if you're watching this video, you're probably on a diet right now, but I can assure you that whatever diet you're on, you're almost always gonna fail. 95% of diets fail for this one reason. And in this video, I'm gonna be explaining 3 reasons why we shouldn't rely on willpower and why willpower just keeps on failing us, leading us to overeat on crisps, cookies, cakes, donuts, takeaway, brownies at night. So starting with number 1 is because you're most mentally depleted at night compared to the morning. So let's say you go to work, to your 9 to 5, or even if you're not doing a 9 to 5, even a Saturday or a Sunday when you're not working on the weekends, you're constantly decision making, you're constantly problem solving, you're constantly thinking about any problem going out throughout the day for 12 hours straight, non-stop from 8 or the moment you wake up. So from the moment you wake up, you're already thinking, what should I have for breakfast? Oh, I'm gonna have eggs, bacon, toast, and then, oh, I'm out of eggs. What can I do to replace it to get enough protein? Or, oh, I'm running out of bacon, maybe I should swap it for more of this. Oh, I need to have enough macros to hit 20 grams of protein from my breakfast so I won't overeat. Oh, will this fit my macros? Will it fit my calorie limit for the day? All those kinds of things. So imagine not just the start of the day, but you're constantly decision making, you're constantly planning, problem solving throughout all of the day. You're probably even like holding yourself back like, oh, I shouldn't have these muffins, it's gonna fit my calorie limit. What should I have tomorrow? Oh, I have a plan for this. And then you come home to the evening and then you just want to relax. You just want to not make any decisions. You just want to watch some Office or The Modern Family, or you just want to watch some TV, Netflix, Disney Plus, and just relax, forget about the whole world. And that's when something pops up last second, and then you just think, oh, I don't have time for this. I'm just gonna binge eat. I'm gonna have more cravings because I want some dopamine, but watching TV and relaxing is not giving me enough dopamine that I need, so I'm gonna get some food. I'm gonna get some pizza because I deserved it. That's why willpower is weakest in the evenings, because you're mentally exhausted. We need to remember that willpower is a limited resource. We can't rely on it again and again and again, and if you rely on it too much, you go to zero, then you're just gonna burn out. So what can we do instead of relying on willpower? Well, what we need to do is to rely on habits. So you probably heard of this book called Atomic Habits by James Clear, basically the guy that teaches everyone how to make amazing habits and actually stick to them. And he says nothing about willpower. Essentially, willpower is a limited resource, but we should focus on habits. James Clear quotes in the book that you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So what does that mean? So we need to follow not goals. We don't have to set goals as in just like, oh, I should have a 6-pack. We need to focus on systems. How are we gonna get this 6-pack, for example? What my eating habits gonna look like? What should I do in the morning? What should I do for lunchtime? What should my meals for evening usually revolve around? How many times am I gonna go to the gym, and what times am I gonna go to the gym? Monday, Wednesday, Friday, instead of just having an arbitrary goal which can diminish our willpower. If we fail at something, then our willpower is gonna take a massive hit. But if we have little systems like, oh, I'm gonna hit the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Whenever you hit the gym successfully on Monday, you have a full workout, then it improves your willpower. You get a little bit of a recharge because you're believing in yourself. You set these goals for yourself and you're hitting them. Having little goals, little systems, shall I say, which is more doable, will lead to that goal already. So try to avoid focusing too much on goals and focus on habits, focus on systems. Try to make it a habit as if you're brushing your teeth, that going to the gym is a regular routine, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then you're not relying on willpower, you're going to be relying on habits. It's just going to be a regular thing. Your brain's going to get used to it. There's not much friction going on. So now moving on to number 2, why you're most likely to binge eat in the evening and you have almost no willpower in the evening is because that's when you're most vulnerable to your emotions. So let's say, for example, that you've been people pleaser. You say, which I was in the past, I was saying yes to so many things. I was busy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Maybe Sunday was my only day to myself. But then I was constantly like, that's my admin day. I was like shopping, I was cleaning the house, all those kinds of things. So I had no time for myself to just relax, read a book, game, watch some TV, watch some anime, which I really enjoy on my own. So I was mentally burnt out. And in the day, I was constantly people pleasing. I was busy with so many things. So in the evening, when I'm alone with myself, I'm trying to catch up. You know, when you run out of battery, you think you run to zero. Well, if you're emotionally burnt out, you're actually negative. So it takes so much effort to get to zero, and you still need to charge up to get to 10% and then 20% and 30%. But imagine that you can't charge up because you're constantly being drained to negative. So you're constantly heading to food in the evenings because you're craving that dopamine. You're giving away all of your dopamine to other people. You're just constantly people pleasing. You're not really happy to do it, but you need to do it because you want that emotional fulfillment. You want people to like you. That gives you a sense of fulfillment, but deep down you're actually not really happy. You're not having a sense of dopamine rush out of it. You're not feeling a sense of deeper fulfillment. So you feel emotionally exhausted in the evenings because you're giving so much of yourself away. And where else is no one going to judge you and give you a sense of dopamine rush? Well, food won't judge you. Food won't judge me, so which is why you're more likely to overeat in the evenings if you're emotionally burnt out. Another thing which is really important to note is that sometimes we binge eat to get ready for the next day, because if we're emotionally burnt out, let's say we're negative energy or we're 0% of our social battery or our mental battery, emotional battery, whatever battery it is, then you need to recharge yourself even a little bit for the next day. So let's say it's Thursday and you have work tomorrow on a Friday. You need to have some takeaway, some Chinese, Indian food, some KFC, Wendy's, Pizza Hut, whatever it is, to give you that little boost like, oh, I deserve this. And this is why you're more likely to binge eat in the evening knowing that you have work the next day. But if it's like Saturday and you're emotionally burnt out, then you're much less likely to have some takeaway. Another example is, let's say you have a holiday starting tomorrow and you're going to the Bahamas or you're going to Thailand, a relaxing beach, it's summertime. Even though you're burnt out from your final day at work, you're much less likely to overeat because you know that you don't have to top yourself up, you don't have to recharge yourself because you know that you can recharge yourself on the following days. So binge eating in the evening is a way of just topping yourself up, trying to eat that food so you can just get ready for the next day, get through that next day. Food is a way of getting a quick dopamine rush. So the truth is, we can't get rid of stress in our life. We can't get rid of our work. We can't get rid of a bad manager unless you move jobs and those kinds of little things you can do. But what we can do is find a way to process our emotions so they don't take control of us. They don't suck ourselves away. So what I highly recommend is to journal. So it sounds simple, just writing your feelings and what happened in your day into paper. But what you're doing is you're sitting down, you're being mindful, you're trying to process those emotions, because we think to ourselves, oh, we need to work. Oh, I'm feeling sad. Oh, work. Or, oh, I'm feeling stressed. Work. But sometimes we need to look at the deeper reason. We're not really processing our emotions. When you ask someone, which is a very UK thing, a very British thing, oh, how are you doing? Oh, I'm all right. How about you? Yeah, all right. I'm feeling stressed. Or I'm feeling busy. But those are not emotions. We're not actually processing our emotions. Stressed and busy is not an emotion. But if you're sitting down, you can process and sit down and realize, what emotion am I feeling? Am I feeling sad? Am I feeling humiliated? Am I feeling ashamed? Just simply recognizing those emotions helps you process those emotions, and it's not like niggling into your body. You're like, oh, I don't know exactly what I'm feeling. And that sense of subconscious uneasiness can lead you to burnout. So number 3 is you're most vulnerable to temptations. So let's say you've been restricting yourself from certain foods, muffins, cakes and donuts throughout the day. Let's say you head over to the office. Oh, there's a bunch of muffins. Oh, it's cake day today. I need to hold myself back as much as possible. I need to undereat as much as possible so I can save all my calories. Let's have a little salad. Let's just have soup for lunch. And then the evening, that's when you're most vulnerable to temptation because there's food around. You're even watching TV or you're watching YouTube and there might be someone eating like delicious pizza, and then you might be thinking, maybe I should have some pizza. Ooh, I can do with that. So all these little subconscious things that go on, or maybe your friends invite you out to eat out with them for a little meal, or maybe your mom's inviting you or your dad's inviting you for a meal out with them, like, oh, Jonathan, let's have some lasagna, let's have some pizza together, let's have some KFC together, Wendy's, Pizza Hut, whatever it is. Then you think, you're trying to hold yourself back, you're having these thoughts, should I have them? Should I not? Should I have them? Should I not? So all of these temptations are strengthened by restrictions throughout the day. So what I highly recommend is try to minimize as much friction as possible. Rather than trying to restrict yourself, try to increase, let's say you're trying to lose weight. Rather than restricting meals, breakfast, lunch, and then maybe you're more likely to binge eat in the evening, try to add things that will keep you full. So try to make sure your meals contain protein, fats, carbs, and fiber. So instead of having bacon and eggs, which is all protein and a bit of fat, try to make sure it contains fiber to make it more filling. So reduce your portion of bacon, reduce your portion of eggs, maybe have a little bit of a slice of whole grain bread, and then maybe a fruit overall the calories are much less, but it's much more filling. It's much more in volume, so overall you're much less likely to overeat. Enjoying your meals, breakfast, and then maybe you can implement the same thing for lunch. Something is protein, fats, carbs, and fiber, and you feel there's much less friction to you following your diet, so you're much less likely to stick to it. And then you know that you're also being full and you're being satisfied, so in the evening you're much less likely to overeat because your body has no reason to overeat because you're full and you're satisfied. So what I'm trying to say here is when you have too much friction, too many restrictions, you're undereating, you're avoiding food, you're having too many rules, then you're much more likely to fall into temptation in the evenings because you're emotionally drained, you're emotionally vulnerable, you're very hungry, your willpower is weakest, and then you're just gonna fall into temptation in the evening. So try to avoid friction as much as possible. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you really enjoyed this video, you'll really enjoy this one. So once again, thanks for watching this video, and also check out my one-to-ones, my online courses, my webinars, and so many more. They're all in the link in the description, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya!